Hey everybody. So this is our lunchtime live. We're going to get started here in just a minute or two. I want to give people a chance to get logged on and find the channel. So just bear with me for a minute. We'll get started in just a minute or so. And if you're watching the replay, we will be starting in just a minute. So stick around. We will get started. Like I said, we're just trying to give people a little bit of time. Got to let the notification get out that we have gone live. So we're just in a holding pattern for a moment or two. I had to make sure my phone was silenced because it never fails anytime I try to go on camera is when everybody in the world wants to talk to me. So, but all right. So I think that gives enough people time to get logged in here. So let's get started. This is our fourth episode of our lunchtime live chat, and today we're got a couple different topics I want to talk about. I'm a little out of sorts today. I was so involved in editing one of my previous videos that I completely lost track of time, and I literally just got this set up about 5 minutes ago. So still just scrambling. I will get this lunchtime live chat thing sorted out, and we will hopefully run a smoother show going forward in the future. I know I pretty much said that last week, but we're getting there. So yeah, let's get started. As always, if you have tuned in, drop a line in the chat. Let me know where you're watching in from. It's always fun to see who tunes in from wherever you're at in the country or across the world. But if you're new here, my name is Dave. The channel is the Sorcerer's Vault. We discuss all things Disney, particularly Disney World. I have a lot of ride POVs, resort tours, some park planning tips, dining reviews. Try to keep it pretty broad, but that's what we do on the channel. And part of that is every week on Wednesdays, I take a half hour during the lunchtime to sit and chat with you guys about Disney. So that's what we're up to today. So grab your meal, grab a water, settle in, and let's get started. But before we even get there, just a reminder that if you ever need help planning a trip or dining reservations, if you need help anything Disney World, shoot me a message, get in touch with me. I am a travel agent. I do specialize in Disney World. So feel free to use me as a resource. But let's get into what we're talking about today. If you have missed all the news in the past week, they have announced Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and tickets have actually gone on sale today for resort guests. But we're going to break down what you need to know before going to the Christmas party and how to get tickets. And the other thing we're going to get into today is one of the biggest planning questions I get: Disney dining, from advanced dining reservations to character meals, snack credits. We got a pretty broad breakdown lined up. And as always, drop your questions in the chat as we go. I'll be doing live Q&A throughout. So if you have a question, let me know. I keep an eye on the chat the whole time we're doing this. The idea of a lunchtime chat is to chat. So don't hesitate. Feel free, drop something in there, and I'll answer it as best I can. So let's get started with Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And while we do that, I want to ask, have you been to one before? You know, if you have, what's your favorite part of it? drop your comments in the chat and let's talk about it. But Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party runs from November 7th through December 21st. Not every day of the week. There's select nights, usually about 3 to 4 times a week. And when you go to the party, your ticket allows you to enter the park at 4 p.m., even though the party doesn't start until 7 p.m. So you get a 3-hour head start on being in Magic Kingdom. Now, just a reminder, your Mickey's Christmas Party ticket is, let me rephrase this. If you're going to Magic Kingdom earlier that day, that doesn't automatically mean you get into Mickey's Christmas Party. Mickey's Christmas Party is a separate ticketed event. You have to have a ticket for the party. But if you use the party day as a down day, you can still get into Magic Kingdom starting at 4, and then at 7 o'clock is when the actual party festivities start. So, as I mentioned, the tickets go on sale today for resort guests. That's anyone staying at Disney Resort, Swan and Dolphin, Shades of Green. Now, general public, if you're not staying on site, does not buy tickets until July 22nd. So this is one of the perks that Disney has built into staying on site is you get that 6-day head start on being able to purchase tickets. And I will tell you that every party date for the past 3 years has sold out. So if you want tickets, buy them as soon as you know when you're going, because there is a chance, not a chance, your date will sell out. It all depends on when. Dates that sell out faster are dates around Thanksgiving and as you get closer to Christmas itself. So if you want one of those busier nights, they're all sold out. They're all going to be busy, right? If you want one of the more popular nights, get them quickly. Tickets range anywhere from, according to Disney, $169 to $229 plus tax, and that depends on which night you're going. If you're going earlier in the season, like those early November dates, you're going to be towards that 169 range. If you're going, the week of Thanksgiving, expect that to be quite a bit higher. And again, closer to Christmas, that's going to go up. So what do you get with a Christmas party? Now, we already said you get entrance at 4 o'clock, but you get exclusive party entertainment you're not going to see during regular hours. I can't tell you how many times in the past I've seen people talk about, wanting to see the Christmas parade, but they don't have a ticket for the Christmas party. The Christmas parade is only during the party. So if you're not attending the party, you don't get to see it. I'm sorry. But you get Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration. It's a stage show right in front of Cinderella Castle. Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time Fireworks is the evening fireworks show. And as I just mentioned, Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade. That's featuring the toy soldiers, reindeer, and Santa himself. There are a couple different holiday ride overlays that are specific to the holiday season. Number one that comes to mind is the Jingle Cruise overlay for the Jungle Cruise. And if you thought the jokes were very punny then, just wait until they have a holiday theme to them as well. One of my favorite overlays, though, is Space Mountain. So the first time they did this, I wasn't aware that they did an overlay, and it was just, oh, hey, let's go check out Space Mountain. There was very little wait, which is usually the case across the park during a holiday party. Wait times are lower because tickets are limited. But going off on a tangent here. So we rode Space Mountain, and on the exterior of Space Mountain, they had, the lights on it with the reds and greens, which I thought was pretty cool. But once you got on the ride, oh my God, it was so cool. They play like how do I want to call it? Like a techno version of holiday music with the flashing red and green laser and strobe lights. It was one of the coolest experiences that I had, unexpected experiences at Disney World. So I just thought I'd share that one. So that was a lot of fun. You get Also, character meet and greets. So there's a lot of exclusive ones that you'll see only during the holiday parties. You get Mickey and Minnie dressed up in their holiday costumes. Jack and Sally are there with Jack dressed as Santa Claus. So you're not going to see these characters out or dressed like this during normal park hours or out of season. And throughout the whole park, there's complimentary cookies, cocoa, snacks, just like at the Halloween party where they're doing trick or treat. A lot of those same stations flip over and handing out Christmas treats. You also get some pretty cool dance parties, the snow on Main Street. The decorations throughout the park are amazing. My favorite though is how they decorate Main Street. So it's the first thing you're hit with when you get into Magic Kingdom, and it's the last thing you see on your way out. It just really sets the whole mood for the Christmas party. So a lot of people ask, is it worth it? Because if you think about it, even if you're going early in season, a $169 ticket across a family of 4 or 5, 6, whatever, it can get pretty pricey. But I also feel if you're going to Disney World in November and December, part of the reason, or maybe the main reason you're going, is because of the holiday decorations and getting to celebrate the holidays at Disney. So if the holidays is a big part of your trip, or if you've never been at this time of year, absolutely check out Mickey's Christmas Party. You're not going to be disappointed. So that's where we'll leave that. You get lower wait times, exclusive shows. Like I said, the classic Main Street Christmas vibe. It's amazing. Now, switching gears here. If you have any questions on the Christmas party, like I said, drop them into the chat. Or if you're watching the replay, leave a comment. I do check the check back on those. So if you do have questions, I will respond to them. But switching gears from cookies and cocoa to the real question that comes up every time you're going to Disney: where are we eating? So let's talk Disney dining, how to plan it, what to book, what's worth your time, what takes 2 dining credits. We're going to cover a lot of that here, and I tend to ramble, so we're going to try and get through as much as we can. I didn't realize my timestamp went over a little on what I allotted for the Christmas party, and I apparently am still doing that. But while we go over this, if you have a favorite dining location at Disney, let me know what it is and let me know why. We'll definitely talk about all these. So when can you book dining reservations? Now, this is kind of particular to table service restaurants, which is anywhere where you sit down and actually have a waiter or waitress come and take your order. So that is a table service meal as opposed to quick service. And we'll get into more of that here in just a minute. So dining reservations can be booked 60 days prior to your arrival. If you're staying on site, it's 60 days from your check-in date, and you can book up to 10 days through the length of your stay. So you can book for your first day, and if you're staying less than 10 days, you can book the entire trip the whole time. If you're staying off-site, though, you can book at 60 days, but you have to do it every day. So you can book 60 days from your first day. You got to wake up again the next morning, book 60 days from the next day, and so on. Booking for dining reservations opens at 6 a.m. Now, I recommend that you are logged in into your Disney account or on your app, however you're doing it, and being ready by about 10 till. You'll also want to make sure that you have your credit card loaded into your account. Now, for most dining, they don't charge you up front, but they do want to hold a card on file just in case if you do a no-show, they charge you a no-show fee. So have that already loaded so that you are ready to go right at 6 a.m. and you can start booking. There are some tools out there that you can sign up for. I'm not going to name anything by name, but if you Google it, there are some third-party sites that will allow you to sign up and get dining alerts. So if there's something you don't get during your 60-day window, you can keep an alert out for that. So if something pops up, you can go in and snag it. But here's my booking tips. always get the hardest to get ones first. So if Cinderella's Royal Table is on your bucket list and it's a must do during your trip, you want to book that one first. Stuff like Chef Mickey's, Liberty Tree, those are still going to be there for a couple minutes. If you want Cinderella's Royal Table, if you want Be Our Guest, if you want Storybook Dining, get those first. Space 220, get all those first. The other thing that helps is if you try to get your top ones or sometimes the harder to get ones later in your vacation. This is specifically for on-site guests because they have that window to book for the entire period. So right at your 60-day window, log in, go right to the CRT availability page and see what's available. The nice thing is you can see a range now, which you used to have to manually guess which times you wanted to go and see if it's available and then do it over and over and over again until you find it. So ever since they changed the system, it's made it much easier. You can see a range of times that are available. But get those for later in your stay. So if you're checking in on Sunday, you might not be able to find CRT available for Monday. You might be able to find it available for Thursday or Friday, though. So you may have to move your plans around from however you had them to be able to accommodate some of those harder to get ones. So that's how I do it. I get those later in the week. And like I said, sometimes you have to maneuver your schedule or whatever to accommodate that. But be flexible with your meal times. So if you're saying, okay, well, I want first opening at CRT at whatever, be flexible. It might not be there on the day you want. So you may have to adjust, or, I want to be able to watch the fireworks from inside the castle. You may not get that, but you might be able to get a 4 o'clock dining. Just be flexible. It's more about getting the dining you want and then, adjusting your day around that. So next question. To dining plan or not to dining plan? Whether 'tis nobler, no, we're not going there. So Disney dining plan, is it worth it? Let me know. Do you guys do dining plan or do you skip it? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just, it's personal preference. It depends on how your family likes to Disney. Some people love having it all paid for at once. Some find they save more paying as they go. So, like I said, it's up to the individual family. What I do is, if I'm working with a client, I will ask them questions and kind of get a vibe, and we'll talk about it both ways. Hey, here's what you get if you do the dining plan. Here's what to expect if you don't do the dining plan. But there's 2 different dining plans. See, I'm glad I silenced my phone because there it goes already. There's 2 different dining plans. There's the standard Disney dining plan and the quick service dining plan. The standard dining plan, sorry, I just lost my notes screen, which is terrifying. There we go. So 2 different dining plans, quick service and standard. So the standard dining plan is the 1 table service meal per day, 1 quick service meal per day. The quick service dining plan is 2 quick service meals a day. Now, what's the difference between table service and quick service? As I mentioned, table service is where you actually have a waiter or waitress take your order, or at the buffets, they have you seated, but they're bringing you drinks. Quick service, it's right in the name. It's quick. It's fast food. That's the big difference. Also, pricing is a pretty big difference. What both dining plans give you, though, is 1 snack or 1 non-alcoholic drink per night. You do get the refillable resort mug for soda, coffee, water. Those can be refilled at any of the Disney resort beverage stations, not in the parks, just at the resorts. Um, so the table service meal includes an entree and a beverage, and yes, that can be an alcoholic drink for a guest over 21. So when might the dining plan be worth it? And we'll talk more specifically with the standard dining plan so that you have the table service credits. If you are booking character buffets, meals, if you want a more higher end dining experience, then it might be worth it. If you like having everything taken care of so that you don't have to worry about bringing as much money with you, dining plan gives you the option, so it's paid for way in advance. So that way when you show up, you're not having to worry about, hey, do we, how are we paying for this today, whatever. And you get to order what you want without thinking about the price. So any of the restaurants that take the standard dining plan credits, the table service credit, sorry, I had to adjust my legs here. You can get anything on the menu. So if you're looking without the dining plan, you might be like, I really want the steak, but is it worth $60? Or am I just going to get the chicken entree for 25? If you got the dining plan, go nuts, man. Enjoy it. When the dining plan might not be worth it. So if you plan to eat mostly quick service meals, you don't want to commit to a sit down meal every day, because that's another thing. With a dining plan, the table service dining plan, you're allotted a table service meal every day. So if you are not wanting to take up, and they take an hour and a half at a time, if you don't want to take up all that time, maybe it's better to get the quick service dining plan or not get a dining plan at all. That way you can just do however many table services you want. Or if you have light eaters or your group tends to share some meals, it might not be worth it for you. Also, if you want more flexibility to change plans on the fly, with table service, you have to have a reservation, so you're locked into that time frame. Well, as everyone knows, plans at Disney might change, they will change, and it's not as flexible if you're having the dining plan. So, final take on dining plans: they can be a good value, but only if you're actually going to use what you're paying for. Don't end up at the end of your vacation with 10 credits left over, whether it's table service, snacks, whatever. If you're going to get it, make sure that you use it. If you're doing a character meal almost every day, it often works in your favor. But if you're more casual with food, you may be better off skipping it and just budgeting out of pocket. So let's talk more about table service itself. Do you need table service every day? Absolutely not. Some families love it and do it every night. Others do it just once or twice and, keep it simple the rest of the time. If you're trying to balance time and budget, what we do as a family, we'll do like 1 or 2 table meals during a trip. And we're always trying to find something different that we haven't done yet or ever. But let me know in the comments or pop in the chat. Let me know what your favorite table service is. And once we get to the end of this, I'll talk about some of my favorites. So table service dining, we've explained what it is. Now, if you are doing the dining plan, there are some restaurants that actually take 2 table service credits. So they actually take up 2 days of your table service. And it's important to know or do a little research on which ones actually take that, so that you're not caught off guard. Typically includes signature dining or certain premium character experiences. Cinderella's Royal Table, that takes 2. Be Our Guest, the dinner version of Be Our Guest, takes 2 credits. And just keep in mind, it's not true character dining. The Beast walks around and kind of waves and whatever, but it's not like a meet and greet, like some of the other character. Storybook dining at Artist Point over at Wilderness Lodge, that takes two. Hollywood Brown Derby at Hollywood Studios, that takes two. They're great experiences, but they will eat up, like I said, 2 meals worth of credits. So make sure that fits into your overall plan. Now, one question I get asked a lot is, where are the character dinings and what characters are available? So at Magic Kingdom, you have Cinderella's Royal Table, which is the princesses. Crystal Palace has Winnie the Pooh and friends. At Epcot, you have Akershus, which is more the princesses. Garden Grill is Mickey and Chip and Dale. Hollywood Studios has Hollywood and Vine. They have the Disney Junior characters there for breakfast, and then Minnie and Friends for lunch and dinner for the Minnie's seasonal dine. I actually just did a video on Minnie's seasonal dine. Animal Kingdom, you have Tusker House. This is actually one of my favorite. The atmosphere, the characters dancing. It's Safari Donald and Mickey and Pluto and Daisy, but that one is so much fun. At the resorts, you have Chef Mickey's, which is at Contemporary. Ohana, just the breakfast, which is Stitch and Mickey over at the Polynesian. Topolino's at the Riviera with Mickey and friends. And then I mentioned Storybook Dining at Wilderness Lodge. That is Snow White, the Evil Queen, some of the dwarves. But character dining is a great way to meet characters without having to wait in long lines. And they're usually a better value for the dining plan because they can be some of the most expensive out-of-pocket meals on property. So just keep that in mind. If you're planning on doing characters meals, you might want to look into actually having the standard dining plan. But let me know which one's your favorite character breakfast character dining. Mine is probably Tusker House. Jumbo. Yeah, I don't sing, but sorry. So some things to consider when you're choosing restaurants. So atmosphere versus food. Some restaurants are all about the setting. Think Be Our Guest. The setting there is fantastic. The West Wing, that room is really cool. And then like Sci-Fi Dine-In, the food's okay, but the theming is the real draw. Others are more focused on great meals. So this is, not character dining, but like Steakhouse 71, Le Cellier, or Morimoto Asia down at Disney Springs. Those are focused on meals, not so much the theming. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. You want a cool place to eat, or do you want good food to eat? Not saying other places are bad food, just saying there's not all locations are created equal. Location, book meals in the park that you want to go to, or change your park days to accommodate where you got your advanced dining reservations. It can chew up a lot of time being in one park and then trying to jump over to another park for a dining reservation. You don't want to be in Epcot in line for Guardians and you've got a 5:30 dinner reservation at Ohana or something. So that'll chew up way too much time. Again, like I said earlier, be flexible. Try to eat earlier dinners. If you're trying to get a 6-7 o'clock dinner, it might not be as easy. If you get a 4:30, 5 o'clock dinner, might be able to get you in early. And then you're eating. I always say zig when everyone else zags. You're eating while everyone else is in the parks. And then when you're done, they're eating and you get lower wait times. Same thing with lunches. If you can wait and take a late lunch, you can avoid the midday rush. And this definitely helps if you have rope dropped and you are running low on energy. Get a meal about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and that can kind of reset your energy for the rest of the day. So, as I said at the beginning of this section, a couple of my favorites. So, take these for a grain of salt. If you want atmosphere with some decent food. Space 220 at Epcot, that is one of the highlights, especially the elevator going up to the restaurant. That's pretty cool. And even the whole, wide open uh, windows that you're looking out into space. So that's a cool, unique experience. Le Cellier at the Canada Pavilion. If you want a good steak at Disney World, oh my Lord, this is the place you want to go. It is not cheap by any means, but honestly, I don't know if you're going to find a better steak on property. Speaking of steaks, I do love me some Steakhouse 71 at Contemporary. Now, this is one where it's easy to leave the park and go to your meal. So if you're at Magic Kingdom, you can actually get out and it's just a 10-minute walk over to Contemporary, or you can hop on the monorail, the resort monorail, and it's the next stop over. So that one's easy to get to and from if you're in the park. I mentioned this one before, Morimoto Asia down at Disney Springs. If you like Pan Asian flavors, if you want a beautifully done meal, this one was delicious. Another one of my favorites, Sci-Fi Dine-In. Don't judge me. It's fun. I know what I'm going to get when I'm there. I'm going to get probably some kind of basic burger. I'm not going to love it, but that place is so cool. To each their own. Everyone has their own favorites. That one's mine. I love that at Hollywood Studios. And like I said, at Animal Kingdom, I do like me some Yak and Yeti. That one's pretty good, but Animal Kingdom, my favorite's got to be Tusker House. I love the characters coming through and their little dance. It's so lively. It's awesome. And I see that I am way out of time already. One last tip, and we'll actually have to get into some of the quick service stuff next time, but don't feel like you have to book the most popular places to eat well at Disney. Restaurants like Yak and Yeti, Skipper Canteen, some of these offer really good food, but they're not as popular, so you can get a good meal without having to sacrifice some of your park time or having to rearrange time because not as many people are booking those. So keep that in mind. I wanted to get into some quick service stuff. I wanted to get into some mobile ordering. Unfortunately, we are out of time today. So we talked through Mickey's Christmas party. We talked through advanced dining decorations, advanced dining reservations. We talked about the dining plan, and we talked about some table service dining. So if you're watching the replay, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Like I said throughout, what experiences do you like at the Christmas party? Do you guys dining plan? What's your favorite table service? Which park? Which resort? Let me know. And always, again, if you're planning a Disney vacation, feel free to reach out. I'm a free resource. I am a travel agent. I specialize in Disney. I am willing to help out as best I can. There is actually a quote form down in the description, so you can fill that out if you want. But don't forget to like the video. Check out some of the other videos we have. Like I said, ride POVs, resort tours, things like that. But thanks for hanging out with me today. We'll see you next time. Have a good day.